haven't yet downloaded the FanDuel Sportsbook app, do it now and look up the Spread the Love market bet to place your bet on the Detroit Pistons. Max $50 bet on Pistons Lakers this Thursday night. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and you should sign up with promo code WXYT so they know that John Jansen segment. Must be 21 or over and present in Michigan. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling rules. Money number 27007. Credit Repair members see a significant improvement in their credit scores month after month. Call now to get your no-obligation credit consultation, including your free credit score and free summary credit report. Don't delay. Call 800-478-8199. That's 800-478-8199. 800-478-8199.
This hour of Instant Feedback brought to you by Mike Rivera of National Benefit Plans. For affordable life insurance, call 877-734-2200.
Calls. We go to Jim out of Salyer, 97 on the ticket. Hi, Jim.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
So, really don't want to say a whole lot so I don't get an angry phone call later, but I know somebody who's friends with somebody that works down Perch.
Okay.
And
good.
so what he's hearing is something Dan Campbell wants, and there might have been discussions already, is a 2021 first rounder, a 2022 first rounder, and a Taysom Hill.
Now you're just trolling. You're talking about the Lions get 2 first rounders and Taysom Hill from Matt Stafford.
Yep.
Are you sure it's not the Lions traded 2 first rounders for Taysom Hill? Look, I'll tell you what, Doug. I'd consider that.
See,
That's what you say consider, not I'll take it. You say consider.
I'll take it.
2 first-round picks is great. Taysom Hill makes no sense, but
Taysom Hill.
You get Taysom Hill.
trade him for another couple first round picks.
No, the thing about Taysom Hill is then you have a backup to a Pro Bowl tight end in T.J. Hockenson. So, he can play tight end for you. He can back up your future quarterback, whoever that might be. It's a perfect trade. Is there any indication in Allen Park if Dan Campbell's going to get this trade done?
No clue.
No clue.
I don't know. I just heard it from somebody who heard from somebody.
He's got connections inside the Park headquarters.
Dan Campbell is not making the trade.
I don't believe Dan Campbell could help. So that's fine.
But if you believe the press conference, he's right there talking about it.
Collaborative effort.
Absolutely.
We're going to use that.
Collaborative.
248-539-9797. Let's go to JT. You're next here on 97 on the ticket. What's up, JT?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey, JT.
I'm sorry, Gator. I just want to make sure I heard you correct. You said that Matthew Stafford's a better quarterback than Dak Prescott?
Yeah. For Dallas, I think he'd work better for Dallas than Dak Prescott did.
Okay. Now, if Dak Prescott comes back healthy, there's no way in hell that Matthew Stafford's a better quarterback. I mean, every time we played him, they've dogged him. But
Yeah.
they have
nonetheless-
better
Would you bet on him? Would you bet on him coming back healthy and being better than he was?
Would I bet on him being better than he was? Yeah,
As good as he was? Would you bet on him being as good as he was?
Absolutely. I don't see any reason why
You go ahead. I would not do that with a guy that just broke his leg the way that he did. I wouldn't
Well,
do that.
yeah, but Stafford
And
had it.
hang on, I'm sorry, JT. The other thing is this: the amount of money you'd have to pay Dak Prescott if you're Dallas.
Well, that's a different argument.
Well, it's part of the argument. It's not-
Gator said he'd be better for Dallas than Dak Prescott. That obviously includes the price.
I thought I heard you
And I
say
do think he's better than Dak Prescott. I do think he's a better.
I think I will agree. I think he's better than Dak Prescott, and two, I think he's a much better situation for Dallas to have Stafford than Dak Prescott.
Okay. What I'm calling for, as Frank would say, I'm going to wallow in the fluid there.
Nice.
All right.
I love that term, man.
It's good.
For my wife to think about the rock that on. That's
Let me know how that goes.
Yeah.
No, John Dorsey concerns me just from the standpoint of how is he going to deal with the young GM being essentially over them. John Dorsey had these great drafts. Now he also took Freddie Kitchens as his coach, but he had all these great drafts and whatnot, and yet he didn't seem to be on anybody's radar. He couldn't get a job as a general manager, and he's been kicked out of 2 organizations. I mean, in a league full of egos and whatnot, and I don't imagine that, front office people are any different than coaches and players and such of having huge egos. Nobody can get along with this guy, and he's going to come here and just be a team player and a great soldier.
So JT, during about 2 commercial breaks ago, I'm walking outside the studio, and Evan yells at me, "Hey Doug, you at all worried about Dorsey?" And the fact that, and much of what you just said here, JT, and my response was, yes, I'm worried about it. It does concern me. I just hope that because Dorsey couldn't get a job as a GM, that he settles into this secondary supportive role, accepts his fate, and doesn't, there's no waves created. And it's at some point you got to ask yourself, do I want to work again, or do I want to hang out, keep trying to be a GM somewhere? And does he accept his fate and, try and be everything they hope he's going to be? There is some concern. I don't know the details of how he used to rub people the wrong way. I really don't. But he obviously did, and that's part of what you're getting with him. Is it a concern? Yes. Is it going to undermine his effectiveness? I don't know yet. I hope not. I hope that he's doesn't take this job unless he's willing to do just this job.
Look,
I think the only thing I would say about that is I guess the concern would be you like the kid from Ohio State, and Pittsburgh ended up signing him. When you're dealing with 20-some-odd-year-old kids, they can mature and they can grow into what they are. Somebody his age, probably who he is, and again, we're talking about 2 organizations that he did a pretty good darn job for in terms of the drafting and overall, but he couldn't sit there and it's like, and then by all accounts, Andy Reid is a pretty likable guy. Everybody
but JT,
along with him.
but JT, keep this in mind too. And you're right. I think there are questions about that, but in the end justified the means. He built a championship team in Kansas City. He helped to build a playoff team in Cleveland. If he wore out his welcome, so be it. And really, all I care for John Dorsey is he helps them land the quarterback that they need, because that's what he's been able to do everywhere he's been. He spent the last season with Philadelphia in their front office, so he's already taken a subordinate role, and this is the next step of his career. He's continuing to take that subordinate role from where he was before. If it only works out for a season, I think we'll be fine with it, because it's the season they need to find the next quarterback, and that's really what he is.
John Dorsey was on a podcast 4 months ago and talked about building a football team. We have some of what he had to say about it. We'll play it for you today at 105. 105 here from John Dorsey himself. For people who don't know who John Dorsey is, by the way, he was the GM in Kansas City, GM in Cleveland, drafted Patrick Mahomes, drafted Baker Mayfield, but his management style got him in trouble, and he got fired, and he was on the market. Nobody hired him. I think he was a consultant last year, and now he's back as the assistant GM to Brad Holmes. So there is your experience sitting next to a rookie GM, and you hope that they have a nice yin and yang, right? You hope that it makes up for any experience deficiencies that Holmes has when it comes to things like the salary cap and trades and free agency, because Holmes is a draft guy. But you'll hear what he has to say, John Dorsey, about building an organization today. At 105, let's go to Tanner on a cell. You're on 97 on the ticket. What's up, Tanner?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing?
I'm all right. I heard Bernard earlier talking about the run game, and it got me thinking, that's what they did in Cleveland. Baker's not, a top 10 quarterback by any means, and just having those two backs, they obviously Mahomes got hurt, but they were able to keep the ball away from Kansas City, play okay defense, and really give them a run for their money at the end of that game.
Like I said to him, nobody's going to argue. It'd be great to have a good run game. They've been talking about building a run game forever. And now they actually have a decent, the offensive line is not a weakness anymore. Like, they've got, I think, 3 guys that they can build around. Probably need to mix in a 4th good player, and they have a really good offensive line. But if they can run the ball, and look, there was a while there where the Rams' offensive line was the best in the game, and they could really run it, and Holmes came from that. So there's something to it, and look, nobody's against building the run game. Nobody.
Yeah, I think if they really put into that defense in the draft, it kind of just sounds, because if you put Fitzpatrick on the 49ers right now, a serviceable quarterback with a good defense and a very solid run game, they're another Super Bowl team. You don't need a great quarterback, you need a good defense and a good run game, in my opinion.
Hey, thank you for the phone call, Tanner. 248-539-9797. Again, coming up at 105, you hear what John Dorsey had to say about building a team. Something kind of weird happened today down at the Senior Bowl, Gator. I wanted to run this past him. Because this guy has been talked about as maybe a Lions draft pick. We'll get to that at 12:48. 97.1 the ticket.
BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, invites new customers to start 2021 off right with a risk-free first bet up to $500. Just sign up today with bonus code TICKET100 and start enjoying BetMGM's innovative parlay selection features, live betting options, daily boosted odds specials, and much more. The football playoffs, they're upon us. The grand finale, it's right around the corner. Pro basketball, that's in full swing. And there couldn't be a better time to download the BetMGM app or go to BetMGM.com and enter bonus code TICKET100 to get back up to $500 in free bets on your first wager. Bet with confidence all year long at BetMGM, where you're always just one tap away from your victory days. Sign up and make your first risk-free bet today with bonus code TICKET100, but you must be 21 years or older. Gambling problems, please call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help. Excludes Michigan disassociated persons.
The Etceteras podcast, hosted by Kevin Durant and Annie Gonzalez, dives into the landmark cultural moments that have helped shape the world as we know it today. The Etceteras podcast, available on radio.com and Apple Podcasts.
No one is tougher than Michigan.
requires tough decisions. It's not hard to wear a mask and keep our distance, but it's tough as nails to keep at it. Only seeing loved ones virtually. That kind of tough takes love. Tough love will get us past this thing. Henry Ford Health System is open, ready, and safe. All for you. Visit henryford.com/toughlove.
New Year's resolutions. We all make them. We all break them. That's why your small business needs more than resolutions. It needs solutions. And you can get them with Comcast Business. Whether you want to work more efficiently with fast, reliable internet and advanced Wi-Fi, make your business safer with powerful cybersecurity solutions, or stay productive with 24/7 support. We've got the solutions you need for your business to get there. So make this year's resolution better solutions. Bounce forward with Comcast Business. Help your business bounce forward with an amazing offer from Comcast Business to kick off 2021. Get started with a powerful and reliable internet and voice solution from Comcast Business for $35 each a month for 24 months for 2 years when you buy both. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com today to find out more. Offer ends 2/7/21. Restrictions apply. Limited to new Comcast Business 35 megabits per second internet and one voice mobility customers. Early termination fee applies. Enrollment in EcoBill and auto pay required.
Now, text or call the ticket using the same number. Ticket text 248-539-9797.
All right, Doug Carr, Scott Anderson, 97 on the ticket. We got 1 hour left. We have heard nobody from Boston today and nobody from New Orleans. Okay, we're trying to get a sense for what the market is for Matthew Stafford in other towns. And it's been fascinating because people have called up and told what talk radio is producing in terms of trade discussion. And there have been some great founding trades for Matthew Stafford that are being talked about in other towns. I've accepted only 7 of them. But we have heard from nobody from Boston. New England holds the 15th pick. They're rumored to be interested. Nobody from New Orleans, although the one guy called, it was from here, saying he's hearing through his 3 times removed sources because he knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody that works in Allen Park at the headquarters that they want 2 firsts and Taysom Hill for Stafford. But we want to hear from somebody from New Orleans. What's the buzz down there? Is Stafford's name coming up? Somebody from Boston. I know there's people streaming online through the radio.com app or streaming through Twitch, twitch.tv. Go for it. I mentioned there before the break. Oh, 2 things I want to get to too. How about the Pistons last night, huh? Really took it to the Sixers.
Yeah, the Sixers have a good record. The Pistons don't have a good record yet. The Pistons won by 15 points. They just commanded that game. It was a nice effort. Wright and Ellington and Grant all had 20 points apiece. At least 20 points apiece. That was nice.
Was last night the first game? It wasn't? Okay. Because that was the first time we noticed fans.
Yeah, for some weird reason, that was the first time I really noticed it, but
I think the camera angles,
maybe that was it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But is it players, families? Is it?
Yeah, family, friends.
Okay.
Very limited. I think it's like 500 people.
I mean, I'm hoping that in the next... I'm hoping people go to Tiger Woods. I'm really hoping people go to Tiger Woods.
I think we're going to be able to go to Tiger Beach.
I think so, too. All right, so I mentioned before the break something weird happened down at the Senior Bowl. Chase Goodbread writes for NFL.com. What a name.
What's his name?
Chase Goodbread.
Okay. I don't know any bad bread, I'll tell you that.
Love bread.
Big fan.
Tweeted out the following. Alabama wide receiver Devonta Smith declined to be weighed in or measured for height at the Senior Bowl. Well, why would he want to be weighed in and measured for height? He's not...
Wait for it for his pro day.
But what's... Is he going to work on his height? Is he going to... I mean,
maybe.
I suppose he could grow
Get away with those extra thick socks that they have in Alabama? I don't know.
Could he put on weight? Yeah, I suppose he could put on some pounds, but... I mean...
I'm not concerned about his height. You're not concerned about his height.
I'm not concerned about his height. I'm concerned about his weight.
There you go. That's why.
You've
got time to pack on nothing but muscle between now
kind of like, then why even go to the Senior Bowl? Like, if you're worried, if that's your biggest concern, I don't know. It just feels like you'd step on the scale for him. And if you won't, then don't even go, because everyone's going to go, he weighs less than we think. It's possible he weighs less than 165 pounds.
You're such a hater.
I am such a hater. Yeah, no, I'm just, if you're invested in a first-round pick, these are things I'd want to know.
Yeah, well, look, they can be answered at his pro day.
I guess.
Be answered now. It's January 26th. Ooh, it's the anniversary of Hulk Hogan winning the WWF title back in 1984.
Is this a real anniversary?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Do you know that's the top of your head?
Yeah.
We do know today is the anniversary, sadly, of the day we lost Kobe Bryant.
It's there as well.
Far more serious. We'll get to that in a second. Do you really know the day that Hulk Hogan?
That's the day Hulk Hogan beat the Iron Sheik. January 26, 1984. I believe that's the date. Google it.
Is this off the top of your head? Is this the kind of
Yes.
thing you keep track of?
These are stupid things that are into my mind that
Might be January 23rd.
Oh, okay.
Hulk Hogan versus Iron Sheik, January 23rd, 1984.
That's
All right. Well, the fact that you thought that you knew that is impressive.
Won it in like less than 6 minutes, too. Camel clutch.
As far as the Kobe thing's concerned, as far as the Kobe thing's concerned, it all still just weird to digest. I mean, it's hard to believe, and I guess this is what people dying at early ages is all about. This is no different than it happening in the real world with somebody you know. But the thing about this one is it just seemed like we all knew him. We all shared this together, and I will never forget it because I found out the weirdest way. I was playing hockey, was sitting on the bench, and Birchie, who plays with us, was having, like, he either broke a lace or something. He needed to go back to the locker room. And he left our bench, and he goes into the lobby of the rink we were playing at, and there's a TV, and somebody was watching the TV and just turned to Birchie and said, Kobe Bryant just died in a helicopter crash. So we're sitting on the bench, and Birchie comes back and tells me, dude, Kobe Bryant just died. Helicopter crash. I'm like, what? And I go over the boards, hop on the ice. Now I'm playing hockey with this news in my head, right? That is shocking. The whistle, we're in a face-off, and I say to my teammates, Kobe Bryant just died in a helicopter crash. We're on the ice. Like, we're playing in a game. And it was just such a weird way to find out such shocking news. Do you remember how you found out?
No, I was just sitting watching. It was like a Sunday? Was it a Sunday night?
It was a Sunday night.
I was just watching TV and saw it come across the crawl. I think that's how I found out.
I was actually taking a nap or something and woken up, and my wife came to me and said, hey, your phone's been going crazy. I said, okay. And then she said, in like a real somber tone, I think I know why. And I was like, I got really scared. You know what I mean? Because something happened to my family, my friends, whatever. And she said that I think Kobe Bryant died. And it was really so sad. Not fortunately for me, it wasn't personally affecting me, but as a fan, I was like everybody else, you're just shocked. And then you find out his daughter, which is what makes it even more tragic to everybody, is that his daughter was in the helicopter along with all the other people too. And it just really, it really hit home for any parent, or you know what I mean. Just it was tough.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Kobe Bryant fan. I respect him for what he was in the game. But to me, the tragic part is just that it's all the kids that died. It wasn't just Kobe's daughter that died. There were other kids in that helicopter crash that died. It's all tragic. It's all very tragic. We're talking about young children that die in a helicopter crash. It's incredible. And it was needless, because they shouldn't have been in a helicopter to begin with, because the weather wasn't cooperative for them to be flying. It was stupid.
Yeah. Unnecessary, risks that didn't need to be taken. And
which we'll never know if Kobe was pressing and say, oh, you got this, go ahead and fly through, we're good. Or if pilot is the one that's, who knows? I don't know if we'll ever know.
Yeah, I'm not all familiar with that area. I've been to LA a few times, but it was between LA and Santa Barbara. Is that correct? If I recall correctly. And I've been to Santa Barbara twice in my life. We went on our honeymoon, and then continued south to San Diego, and I feel like we might have driven through that area. Would seem to stand to reason. And then we went a couple summers ago. We went back with our kids and stayed in the same hotel, which was weird to be somewhere you were on your honeymoon and then go back there with your kids. Felt a little odd, but I imagine that's become quite a site that people make a pilgrimage to.
I believe it was Sunday morning, by the way. I don't remember.
It was Sunday morning in LA. We had an afternoon hockey game. We were playing, because all our games are played on, just about all of them are played on Sundays.
Yeah.
But
The crash was in Calabasas, correct?
I don't know.
Yeah, I believe you're right, Gator. Somewhere right around there.
Which is
if not right there.
north of LA. It's north of Malibu, and it's by Thousand Oaks, Westlake Village. It's between Beverly Hills and Thousand Oaks, and just west of the city of Los Angeles.
So the thing about Kobe and what makes it, obviously a lot of people idolized him as a basketball player. After basketball, they saw what kind of father he was and wanted to be to his girls. And I think a lot of people don't understand what the girl dad thing comes from with Kobe Bryant. I want to explain, at least my point of view is, of course, if you have a son, you're still a dad. If you have a daughter, you're still a father. Guys have this weird thing about being a man, right? We give each other man cards. We take our man cards away from someone we don't even know, whatever it is. We got this macho thing in us, right? And one of those things is you got to have a son. You got to carry on that last name. You got to have a son to raise into a man, right? That's the cool thing. You see these gender reveals now, and it kind of bothers me when I see a father, a soon-to-be father, and it comes out and it's pink, and he's clearly disappointed, and he's not as excited as he wanted to be because he wanted a son. What Kobe did for a lot of people was he made it cool to be a girl dad. You don't need a son, to be a man. You don't need a son to be a real father, whatever. He embraced having daughters, and one of those infamous interviews was, people said to him all the time, "Hey, Kobe, you gotta have a son, man. You gotta have a son to carry on tradition playing basketball." He's like, no, I got this. My daughter loves basketball, and she's gonna carry on, And so I think that's one thing that really hit me, having a daughter now. If I have more children, whether a daughter or son, you just want to be healthy, but that's the thing that really hit me and a lot of people is the girl dad thing. So for people that kind of just don't understand the girl dad thing, that's where it comes from. You know what I mean? I think just, hey man, I had son, daughter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I had not heard the term until Kobe died, and then
he just made it more popular.
He made it, and then everybody started talking about how this is something that he, threw the hashtag out there and talked about being a girl dad. And I have 2 boys and a daughter, and I remember, for me, it was kind of like I was that guy. Like when I was younger, I was like, I want to have a son. I want to play catch with him, and I want to do all those things that fathers and sons do. And I remember I was doing play-by-play for Michigan softball and watching these girls play softball. I'm like, you dummy, you can do all the same stuff with your daughter. Like you can play catch with your daughter. You can take your daughter fishing. You can take her hunting if you want.
Share whatever.
Get a double quarter pounder with cheese with just ketchup and onion and a large Coke.
Okay.
That's it.
$7.73.
worried that the Lions will snatch the quarterback out from under him. But he said, hey, man, we just hired, is it Sean Ryan? The quarterback coach from Detroit is now the quarterback coach in Carolina. So that could be a match. Denver. Guy called from Denver, Drew, said they are a surprise strong candidate. And there is talk about number 9 and Jerry Jeudy for Matthew Stafford. Indianapolis, the guy who called and said his boss is from Indy. They love Stafford. He thinks the boss was talking about how they go 21 and 2 second-rounders. Pittsburgh, only if Ben Roethlisberger retires, and they're more interested in Aaron Rodgers, according to a caller from Pittsburgh. A guy called from Washington said they like Stafford. They're leery of veterans, but there's been talk about a first-rounder and Montez Sweat for Stafford. A lot of good deals. I said at the beginning of the show, Gator, I think we need to brace ourselves that they might just get a first back, and that's okay. And you guys are telling me I'm scared. So maybe I'm quick to jump on these other trades that have been talked about in other towns. But what it does tell you is that, some of these, a first rounder plus something isn't necessarily a pipe dream, because it sounds like, in other NFL cities, they'd be willing to do it. Now, I guess just because talk show hosts do it and fans say they do it doesn't mean that teams would do it. But we're operating in real terms here, not unrealistic, fantasy, all lopsided, I'll give you Darren Helm, you give me Evgeny Malkin type trades, which is one that was suggested years ago.
Right.
Actually, he said he wouldn't give up Darren Helm for Evgeny Malkin, is what he said. But
I think there will be plenty of good offers coming the Lions' way, and they're going to sift through and take the best one, hopefully.
248-539-9797. Again, trolling from Boston and New Orleans. In the meantime, I mentioned this a while ago. Is Lois acting up?
Well, she wandered in the other room. I always get nervous when she wanders in the other room.
Why is that?
Well, because she's slinking around like she may want to go outside, and she's going to wander in the other room, and she could drop dirty.
Oh.
But she now goes back into the kitchen, which is where she needs to be for the next 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Isn't she aware of our commercial breaks? Doesn't she know when it's time to go?
Kind of.
Okay. So John Dorsey, who is now the assistant GM, is on a podcast, a Jed Hughes podcast, back in November, and talked about a couple of things. First of all, it was one of the topics that came up was, how do you build a winner in the NFL? And here's what he had to say.
In terms of building a team,